food security, reduce imports, and deepen agro-industrial value chains. Agbeyewa Industries Limited, a subsidiary of Cavista Holdings, has acquired Matna Food Company Limited to integrate large-scale cassava cultivation with industrial processing. The acquisition is expected to unlock efficiencies across the cassava value chain, expand local sourcing, and stimulate economic activities among farmers, processors, and industrial users within the cassava value chain, linking large-scale cassava cultivation in Ekiti State with industrial processing capacity in Ondo State. Now, Agbeyewa, which operates the largest cassava farm in Nigeria, says the deal will boost cassava offtake, expand processing capacity, and create sustainable jobs across host communities. So much in our country. Yeah. Tell us about your business, where you are, and why your business, where you are, and why this accusation.
Thank you very much, Ogujovi, and thank you very much at home. Thank you very much, Ogujovi, and thank you very much at home. Nigeria having cassava produced in a deluge. Having cassava produced in a deluge, in a torrent. Having cassava produced in a deluge, in a torrent. And today, Agbeyewa Farms Limited is the largest cassava farm in Africa, not in Nigeria. Wow. If you Google it, it's the largest in the world because we have signed and undertaking an MOU with the Ekiti State government to actually undertaking an MOU with the Ekiti State government to actually cultivate cassava, 100,000 hectares of cassava. 100,000 hectares of cassava within the next 10 years. And we started this about 3 years ago. But 2024 years. And we started this about 3 years ago. But 2024, when we actually created a milestone of becoming the largest cassava and the biggest cassava farm in Nigeria and Africa, when we grow and cultivated our cassava worth over 2,000 hectares. And as of last year, our cassava that we have cultivated on Agbeyewa farm is in the range of 3,000 to 3,500 hectares. And that makes us the biggest in Africa, right? Wow. And if you are producing this cassava, and if you ask geologically today, why are you into even a cassava business, production business? So look, I have 3 objectives why I pick cassava, because cassava will offer you job employment, and the first vision is to create job. Second one is to create more job, and the third one to even create further more jobs. And that's why I came to Nigeria, and that's why it's investing in cassava. A cassava production will give you the opportunity to actually actualize its objectives of creating jobs for the populace of Nigeria. But we can't do this with primitive farming. Today, any primitive farm of cassava, we do about 6 to 8 tons per hectare. That's primitive. But we have to go into serious, large-scale mechanized farming in order for us to actualize our goal of becoming the #1 cassava farm in the world. And that's why we invested a lot in mechanization. As I'm speaking today, we have bulldozers working on our farm. We have acquired over 15 bulldozers working on our farm. We have tractors, over 27 tractors, with different horsepowers, from 65 horsepower to 255 horsepower. In fact, we have the biggest tractor on our farm today called the Beast, which is about 255 horsepower. So, and that's why we're using them to actually cultivate cassava, and that's why we are able to grow and cultivate cassava to over 3,000 to 3,500 hectares in the last 3 years. Why acquisition of a Matna?
Matna, yes.
You know, I've told you that we are in the business of actually producing cassava, okay? Now, we discover that we need to actually go into the second pillar of processing and to play a dominant role in cassava value chain. Cassava value chain goes from a cassava cultivation, which we are very dominant today, and we are the best today. The next level is processing, then utilization, aggregation, and also agro trading. Okay. But we want to actually play a major role in the processing. because the feedstock that we are producing today, apart from the fact that we are selling to some processors, okay, can take us to becoming a major player in the processing section of cassava value chain. And we look at the facility of Matna processing plant. When the offer came that Matna is in the market for people to acquire, my chairman quickly jumped into it because, one, Matna Foods Limited is #1 and the first cassava processing plant in Nigeria.
Okay.
And it was established, like you have rightly mentioned, by the former CBN governor, Chief Joseph Sanusi, who also is the former First Bank director and CEO.
Yeah, that's true.
He has the same mindset. He had the same objective. He had the same vision, like Niyi John Olajide. And Baba created that place for a legacy project for him to be able to employ more people around Ondo State, in Ondo State and within Ondo State. And we also, our mission is also to create more jobs. So when this one came, I was okay, fine, let's jump into it and also try to create further more jobs within Ondo State and its environment. Yeah. But two, because the plant itself is a Korean plant which has capacity to do what we want to do. It has a capacity to produce 25 to 30 tons cassava starch every day.
Wow.
And that means Agbeyewa farm needs to be feeding into that plant 120 tons of cassava fruits every day. Since we have the cassava fruits and we have a plant that can accommodate and process into cassava starch about 25 tons, that's just with our objective. Because we have also promised, because we also like the agenda of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to his agenda on agribusiness, actually to eradicate food insecurity in Nigeria, and we'll be dwelling and we'll be following that agenda, we'll be dwelling in it. And we said one of the ways to actually eradicate food insecurity in Nigeria is actually going to processing, okay, and begin to produce some cassava derivatives. Today, we are importing annually over 600 million of cassava derivatives into the country, being used by companies in FMCG, you know, the likes of Cadbury, Nestle, Promasidor, and so on. That means if the 600 million naira is actually being generated in the country, it will enhance the GDP of the country. True. It will create more jobs, and it will also reduce post-harvest loss of cassava from the indigenous and also primitive farmers. So, apart from the fact that we are going to be giving our cassava into Agbeyewa cassava into that plant, we will also be aggregating, we'll also be getting cassava from various farmers within and around the southwestern state, okay, to process their cassava into cassava starch. That means the problem of farmers having post-harvest loss will be eradicated. Yeah. Two, when you are taking cassava from farmers within and around Ondo State, within and around Ekiti State, you're also increasing the GDP of the local government of that place, the GDP of the state, and also it will turn to an increase and also an enhancement in the GDP of the country. Can you imagine 600 million naira of cassava derivatives being imported into the country today? Is a lot, it's huge. We'll tap into that. And we also like the federal government agenda or objective of actually tapping into the huge potentials in the cassava value chain today, which is about between $6 to $7 billion. Has been earmarked into processing of cassava, into cassava starch, ethanol, subitor, high-quality cassava foods, and all the rest, in order to eradicate food insecurity in Nigeria. We also want to tap into that potential. And we believe that acquisition of Matna Foods will enable us to do all of this, tap into that opportunity, huge opportunity, and also to also support the federal government initiative to eradicate food insecurity in Nigeria. And we are doing that. We saw the capacity of that plan as being the one that will be able to enable us to get to our objectives, okay, of producing cassava starch. And beyond that, that facility is on about 80.8 hectares of land. 80.8 hectares of land. And it also enables us, the Matna Foods company. Yeah. It will enable us to also install some other lines. What we are producing today is cassava starch. It will enable us to install other lines where we can produce other cassava derivatives. of course, we will start producing fufu, gari, high-quality cassava flour in that plan. And it will also enable us to also utilize the land available to cultivate more cassava farms within Ondo State. And we also know, and we are told, and we know, we have seen the paper, that the farm also has a lease agreement. I mean, the company also has a lease agreement with Ondo State government, who has leased to them about 500 hectares of land. And those will be turned into cassava cultivation. We'll plant cassava there as time progresses. And that's the reason why we have, because it also helps the farmers around Ondo State who presently do not have where they sell their cassava stock. In fact, we have started aggregating cassava stock from those farmers. They started bringing cassava stock to our factory where we process for them, and we buy their cassava at premium price. I can imagine what it means. Honestly, and it also give the teeming youth good job. In Agbeyewa farm today, the people working on our farm today as farmers are about 1,900. Taking people away from the street who are always shouting in political corridor, we have taken them off the street. We are giving the women job. The same thing as we have acquired Matna Foods, we'll also be giving job to the teeming youth. And I can tell you, that today on our farm in Agbeyewa, we have over 50 youth corpers who are serving. Wow. We have retained in the last 1 year over 35 youth corpers. And our youth corpers, we don't pay them a stipend. We don't have peanuts. Okay, what we pay them is what no agency or federal government agency or the state government agency can pay. Some federal government or state government pay 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, just apart from the normal stipend they give to them. But we pay each couple on our farm today 100,000 naira every month. Aside from the normal allowance they normally give them. So the same thing we applicable to Matna Foods without recruiting corpers to come and work in Matna Foods. So we are creating jobs. We are making farmers to become creating wealth for farmers. Exactly, because I've always been worried about the fact that many will say we have an aging farming population that they are leaving and we need to bring the youths in. What you're saying now, I see that youths will be more interested in coming into farming, and you talked about mechanizing it. Now, let's again stay with that value chain. You talked about large-scale cultivation, you aggregate, and all of that. This to me is capital intensive too. So how are you managing that? Because some will say if we are spending too much, we might also need to make more money. So at least we need to pay back wherever money is coming from. That's on one side. Then what kind of support do you need? Because this is beautiful, this is pretty, but it needs to be actualized so that it doesn't just end like projections and all of that. How sure are you that most of these things would, because we're going to have an evaluation and monitoring. We'll have you in again after some time so that we know what's playing out, how well, how many people have you empowered, what is happening with it. So tell us about that. Yeah, thank you very much. Let me just start Agbeyewa Farm as a case example before I come to Matna. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so you can just come, I'm sure your people have come to Agbeyewa Farm. Today I'll tell you many people that have come, VVIP that have come to Agbeyewa Farm to come and see what they have read and what they have seen on the social media. The Honourable Minister for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Kyari, has been to Agbeyewa Farm. Wow. The Imperial Majesty of Yoruba Land, Oni of Ife, has visited Agbeyewa Farm. From a U.S. embassy, they have come to Agbeyewa to come and see whether what we are saying is true or not. Like I told you, we have employed over 1,900 today. Corpers are working on our farm today. And among the direct labor that we have employed today, manager level, over 400 people are working on our farm. This is sustainable. Now, we are planning to cultivate 5,000 hectares this year, which we have started, right? And in the next 1 year, we'll cultivate another 5,000. That will make about over 10,000 hectares that we'll be cultivating to support the 100,000 hectares of land we signed an agreement with the state government to cultivate within the next 10 years, okay? Just go there and see how we are mechanizing it. This mechanization, the investment mechanization is done by the chairman, D. John Olajide. Okay. So it's because he said that, look, his mission, strictly speaking, his mission, we're not even looking at the bottom line for now. We're not looking at the margin for now. Because his mission is, look, I want to create jobs, create more jobs, create further more jobs. And if you see people that are working on our farm today, you go to the LinkedIn, go to anywhere, they are giving testimony of what Agbeyewa is doing today, right? With the youth and everybody. Now, we have various corporate customers who are coming to buy cassava food on our farm today, but that's not where we're going. Now we have acquired Matna Foods processing plant. So, I mean, the likes of Ebedebiri, all the way from Bayelsa, they come to our farm to come and buy cassava food because our cassava gives the highest starch content. But thank God that we also be dovetailing that one into our cassava processing plant in Matna now, okay? And because we're also producing the highest cassava yield. And like I told you before, 6 to 8 tons yield per hectare is what a primitive farmer will give you, that we give across Nigeria average today. But today on our farm today, we are cultivating 25 to 30 tons per hectare. So when we now bring that one to Matna to start processing, it will enable us to create more jobs, for Matna Foods community, okay? And because we don't take joke about community engagement, all the 9 host communities in Agbeyewa farm today, they are getting benefit from Agbeyewa because we are giving them 1 hectare. Put on 1 hectare, which we cultivate for them, we plow, we harrow for them, we harvest for them, and we give them the sales product at the end of the day. The same thing, every farmer that will be around Matna Foods within Ondo State, even Osun State, will also be enjoying this kind of benefit from us. It is sustainable because we have a vision, we have a mission that is sustainable, and that will enable us to actually tap the potentials that are already in the cassava value chain. We sponsor a program in June last year, World Cassava Day. Agbeyewa Farm sponsor it. And the minister, the vice president made a comment about Agbeyewa Farm. You know, because of the large-scale mechanized farming that we are doing, nobody has ever done it. If you are making joke about it, we won't go into mechanized farming. We won't be buying tractors, about 27, we're not crazy, to go buy about 27, 28, 30 tractors and get about 10 to 15 bulldozers to work on the farm and recruiting the best and the brightest. The people that you see on our farm today at Manibia level are the best and the brightest. We recruit them. You can imagine how much you are paying them to take home at the end of every month. That means we are here for serious business and to contribute very positively and successfully to the agric business agenda of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to eradicate food security in Nigeria. And let me remind you, acquisition of Matna is just the first phase. Okay. We have a plan to build a world-class processing plant, the best in Africa, in Agbeyewa farm. But just, okay, fine, this one just came as a low-hanging fruit. Let's grab it and begin to learn from this before we begin to establish our own processing plant, which is going to be world-class. And I can tell you, within the next 2 to 3 years, you'll be seeing that. And we want to even acquire more processing plant to be able to give you a confidence level that we are here for our business, and we are here also to actually reduce poverty and also reduce food insecurity in Nigeria, and to help and to support federal government initiative in growing the GDP of Nigeria through agribusiness and through cassava. Mind you that cassava is the most rugged crop you can ever see. And the federal government is talking about having a non-oil commodity that will take care of oil when oil fizzles out. And cassava is that commodity. And we want to use cassava as a test because we're already embarking on cassava revolution. Federal government knows about this. The House Committee on Senate and everybody in the House of Reps, they know about this, that we are creating a cassava revolution that will help enhance the cassava value chain, that will make sure that the cassava becomes the non-oil commodity that will help support whatever value and whatever income or revenue that is being generated currently by the oil market.
That sounds good. I think you've answered. I was asking from you what sort of support you need. You know, because when these projects are they're big. Let me use that word. So, are you getting the necessary support also from the ministry?
Thank you, Gudobi. I want to sincerely thank the state government for Agbeyewa. For giving us the enabling environment, actually.
Because it's important.
And for also giving us the land. To give us about 7,500 acres of land is not easy. So we're getting that enabling environment support from them, and that's why we signed an agreement with them to cultivate 100,000 hectares within the next 10 years. Now, from the federal government, I want to give kudos to NADA, okay? My very friend, Colonel Seyi Aiyeleso, who is supporting us very heavily on Agbeyewa. Actually, we just received about 4 or 5 doses from NADA to support our mechanization in Agbeyewa farm. And they are still talking about helping us, NADA, NADFA, the Minister of Agri, Senator Kiari. Also, they're also talking about giving us tractors. The federal government just bought about 2,000 tractors, and they are considering Agbeyewa very seriously to get a very good share of those tractors. I want to appreciate them. In terms of fertilizer, we're also approaching Ministry of Agri, also NADA, and also NADF to actually support us on fertilizer distribution. Of course, there's no way we will not need federal government and state government presence on our farm, even in Matna Foods. There's no way we will not need them. The roads are about, we need light, we need power and everything. So we'll be approaching them. That we need that. You know, those states now are already approaching the state government to give all the document of the 500 hectares of land owned by Matna Foods, you know, and also when we begin to do some infrastructure, also improve the infrastructure activities on the factory, we will be inviting them. Okay, if it's road network within the farm they can do for us, that will be great. So we'll be needing them in a lot of areas, which we are already approaching them, and they are already responding very positively to it. First one I mentioned to you is Shegun, who is the NADA years, who is also supports us very, very, very heavily. So we appreciate them for what they want to do for us.
Right. We'll see how all of this plays out because I see that the strategy really aligns with the federal government's focus of revitalizing and, of course, reducing imports and deepening agro-industrial value chain across the country. I must thank you so much. Interesting conversation. We've hit more than our time, Mr. Seyi Oscar Aiyeleso, but interesting conversation. I must say, MD CEO, Matna Foods Limited, also MD CEO, Agbeyewa Farms Limited. You wear two caps.
Yes,
All right, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much.
I hope to have you again soon so that we can, you know, understand how far you've gone, the level of jobs, what you've been doing, jobs created and all of that, so that Nigerians will really see that there is still...
In fact, we need to measure the level of progress we're making, both in Agbeyewa and Matna Foods, and that will be impactful on the Nigerian population and everything that the federal government is doing in terms of agri-business and also food security in Nigeria.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Mr. Aiyeleso. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, now, still to come on the program.